Hi everyone, it is Sunday evening on the 14th of June 2020. I'm having a look at commodities, starting off with gold. So gold has come back into this nice little zone that I highlighted as a buy zone. It's produced a bullish weekly candle, and it's now back in the moving averages as well. It's not ridiculously overextended, and it still hasn't connected with 1800, all of which leads me to believe that this price action is now looking keen on attempting to break out and connect with that level this week. So we're having a look at that, watching these levels, and potentially looking for opportunities on the much lower time frames, probably 15 minutes and 30 minutes on that. Silver, interestingly enough, it almost looks as though it's setting up as a head and shoulders here. It doesn't look as bullish. The weekly candle also does not look as bullish, and so it's going to be interesting to see what's happening here, because silver has been bullish recently while gold hasn't, and now silver looks bearish. So that is just interesting. It doesn't produce much clarity. It doesn't show whether silver is now leading. Gold still looks bullish, silver doesn't look as bullish, so we'll have to see how that unfolds. Then looking at crude oil. So all the oils have produced a similar setup here. They've all produced a bullish setup, but they're all sitting at very significant levels where we've got price in a downtrend on the monthly coming back up to retest resistance. They do have the potential to go higher, which is why I've highlighted two levels here, because they could go as high as the next level. But they are in an area right now where a reversal would make sense. They've also had a really big sort of overextended move to the upside, and so any kind of a pullback at this point would make sense on the weekly time frame. But the daily itself has been trending really well. It's nice and bullish, and so we're getting conflicting information. Technically, the daily looks fantastic and it looks bullish. And so in isolation, this would be a strong reason to go long on the daily. On the weekly, we've broken that downtrend, so we're not in a downtrend on the weekly anymore anyway. We are a little bit overextended, but on the monthly we have this key level, and we are on a downtrend, and we are potentially forming an indecision or bearish candle here. So what this means is that any trades I do decide to take, I'm going to have to consider the idea of either demo trading, not trading them, or potentially reducing my risk, or trading at full risk, but being prepared that this may not be able to break through this 4,000 level, and that although it does look bullish here, that ultimately the monthly trend is going to play out. And so that's really going to be the case with West Texas as well as Brent. They've all produced exactly the same scenario. They're all in exactly the same place, and the risk is therefore what is going to happen between the monthly downtrend and the daily uptrend. And it's very difficult to predict at this point in time. Principally that daily looks really, really bullish. Then having a look at sugar. So sugar was on my list. This was a recent trade, looked really good. It's pulled back into the daily, produced a nice little indecision candle, and maybe setting up for another move up towards 1300. So I'll have that on my watch list. It's got a similar weekly and a similar monthly setup here, sort of a no clear trend and a big move on the weekly to the upside, but I'm liking this overall. But again, if I have any concerns, I'll reduce my risk if I do still decide to take the trade. Coffee Arabica is looking really nice and bearish. It's coming down towards its lows. These are just some nice commodities, and it's setting up for a breakout to the downside there. Looks really good. Chicago wheat, don't have any comment on this at the moment, doesn't look good. And let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is still trying to get over this 10,000 level. That's a good sign. It's consolidating on the weekly. It indicates so far it's nice and bullish. There's enough buyers to keep it here, and we'll see if we can get over the line this week. It's connecting with that sort of 50 moving average. It's a good time for it to start to take another run at it. Ether, on the other hand, is broken through its level, which is 217, is doing the same thing and consolidating here. Overall, there's no clear direction on this. I'm still leaning towards the upside. There's no reason just yet for me to believe they've gone bearish, but they have no clear trends, and they're not offering any trades to the upside. So really what I'm doing is waiting for them to provide me with clarity. Are they going to start to break out to the upside, which is my 60-40 leaning? There's a 60% chance that they're going to lean to the upside, or are they ultimately about to kind of have a collapse and head lower? But in isolation, again, they've been very nice and bullish, and ultimately have been showing an indication that they want to head to the upside.